Shedeur Sanders didn't just silence critics. He lit a fire under the entire NFL. From the moment he took the field in Cleveland, Sanders played like a quarterback who wasn't waiting to prove he belonged. He knew he did. Over 300 yards, multiple records broken, and a fan base electrified. His debut didn't just impress, it stunned. But what followed off the field made the moment even more powerful. Cam Ward, the rookie many expected to shine brightest, responded with humility and composure, choosing respect over rivalry. In a league built on ego, that kind of character hit just as hard as any deep throw.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Together, Sanders and Ward are proving that this new generation of quarterbacks is different, sharper, tougher, and more prepared than ever before. Their battle is just beginning, but already it feels like something bigger than football. It's legacy in the making, a rivalry that's rewriting the rules of greatness, not just by what they do under pressure, but how they carry themselves when the spotlight shifts. The league isn't just watching, it's evolving. Kevin Stefanski is in serious trouble, and not just the fans are mad online kind. We're talking about real, franchise-defining pressure. The kind that makes front offices second-guess their scouting department. The kind that turns one rookie's breakout game into a referendum on your entire draft strategy. Because Shedeur Sanders just changed the conversation. The Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback stepped onto the field and did something no one expected. He broke franchise records in his very first NFL game. Over 300 passing yards, total command of the offense, and the kind of composure you don't usually see from someone making their pro debut. This wasn't a lucky game. This was a quarterback walking into a legacy franchise, planting a flag, and letting the world know he's here. And suddenly, people are asking the uncomfortable question, did the Browns draft the wrong guy? Let's rewind for a second. Shedeur Sanders wasn't the first overall pick. That honor went to Cam Ward, now QB1 for the Tennessee Titans. Ward was the safe pick, the polished product, the guy scouts loved for his maturity, decision-making, and steady approach to the game. Meanwhile, Sanders was seen by some as the wild card. Talented? Yes. NFL ready? That was up for debate until he completely dismantled that narrative in his very first outing. The Browns didn't just pass on a good player. They might have passed on a future face of the league. And that's not speculation. That's what the performance said. One game in, and Shedeur Sanders didn't just look comfortable. He looked elite. The kind of elite that makes fans look at their front office and ask, how did we miss this? Now, none of this is Cam Ward's fault. In fact, his reaction to Sanders' breakout was the opposite of petty. He didn't make it about himself. He didn't throw shade. He showed leadership. Ward acknowledged Sanders' performance with respect and humility. He focused on his own growth, his team's effort, and what he needs to improve. That's maturity. That's professionalism. And that's exactly what you want from your franchise guy. But this is the NFL. Narratives don't wait. And right now, the narrative is not on Kevin Stefanski's side. The buzz around Shedeur's debut isn't just hype. It's altering how people view the entire quarterback landscape. One performance, and suddenly the league is rethinking everything about how it evaluates talent. All those scouting reports, all the hours of film, all the combine data, none of it predicted that Sanders would deliver a franchise-altering performance in Week 1. And that's the issue. Because when a player breaks records right out of the gate, it forces the league to question whether its evaluation systems are working at all. What's even more frustrating for Cleveland is that they saw both quarterbacks. They had the pick. They had the choice. And they went with the guy who didn't make history. They went with Ward. And again, Ward has all the tools to succeed. He's composed, intelligent, and grounded. But when Sanders comes in and changes the game immediately, every snap Ward takes is going to be compared to Shedeur's numbers, Shedeur's leadership, and Shedeur's presence. And that's an impossible standard to live under. Even worse for Stefanski is the fact that Ward has done everything right. He's focused. He's steady. He's not rattled. But the pressure isn't about what he's doing. It's about what Sanders did. And what he might keep doing. If Sanders continues to develop, continues to lead, and continues to stack wins, then the Browns will be stuck in the shadow of a quarterback they could have had. A quarterback who's now shaping the future of the franchise they let him walk away from. It's the kind of miss that doesn't just stain a draft, it defines it. But this rivalry is more than a tale of one hot start and one thoughtful response. It's about what both of these quarterbacks represent. Because this is the old school era, where rookies take 2 or 3 years to figure it out. The game has changed. Quarterbacks are coming into the league more prepared than ever, thanks to evolved college systems, advanced training programs, and a culture that now expects greatness early. And both Sanders and Ward embody that evolution. Sanders showed how quickly talent, preparation, and football IQ can translate. Ward showed how emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and poise can stabilize a franchise. They're not just rookies trying to stay afloat. They're redefining what the rookie experience looks like in today's NFL. And even though their styles and paths are different, they're both part of a wave of young quarterbacks reshaping the league. Still, the spotlight right now is squarely on Sanders, and the weight of that attention is already being felt in Cleveland. This isn't about fan overreaction. This is about real concerns in the front office. Because the kind of performance Sanders just delivered, it changes expectations. It changes timelines. It changes the pressure on coaches, coordinators, and decision-makers. And for Kevin Stefanski, who's already operating in a win-now league, this just turned into a high-stakes situation. Because if the Browns stumble while Sanders continues to shine, the whispers become headlines. The frustration becomes action. And suddenly, Stefanski isn't just defending his playbook. He's defending the pick. Meanwhile, Ward is staying calm. And that matters. His measured response to Sanders' breakout wasn't just a good soundbite. It was a message to the league. He's not fazed. He's not in competition with Sanders. He's in competition with himself. And that mindset, paired with his physical tools, makes him just as dangerous in the long run. But the NFL isn't always patient. And right now, Cam Ward's journey is being viewed through the lens of what Shedeur just did. Every time he throws an incompletion, someone somewhere is asking, would Sanders have made that throw? And that's what makes this story so electric. Because both of these guys are going to be compared at every turn. Every touchdown, every press conference, every fourth quarter drive. It all goes into the same rivalry narrative. One game doesn't decide a legacy, but it sure does set the tone. And Shedeur Sanders just walked onto the stage and grabbed the mic. The difference is, Ward didn't try to steal it back. He let the moment be what it was. That's rare. And that's why this rivalry might become something much bigger than just draft picks and stat lines. Because what we're seeing is the emergence of 2 quarterbacks who are going to be around for a long time. They're not just playing the position, they're changing it. They're showing that quarterbacks today need more than just a strong arm. They need command, awareness, the ability to lead a locker room and answer for the outcome. And both Sanders and Ward have shown that, just in very different ways. Still, the urgency in Cleveland can't be ignored. That city has seen enough quarterback heartbreak to know when trouble's coming. And unless Stefanski can find a way to turn this narrative around fast, he's going to be the one answering for a decision that might haunt the franchise for years. Shedeur Sanders just made a statement. Cam Ward answered it with maturity. Now the rest of the season becomes a test, not just for these 2 rookies, but for the systems that chose them. What side are you on? Do you think the Browns made a massive mistake? Is Ward still the better bet long term? And what does this mean for how the NFL scouts quarterbacks moving forward? Drop your take in the comments. Hit that like button if you're following every twist of this unfolding rivalry. And subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Because this story, it's only just getting started. And just like that, we've entered a new chapter in the NFL. Not a quiet one. Not a gradual one. A loud, high-stakes, no room for error moment that's putting the Browns, and Kevin Stefanski specifically, right under the microscope. Because now, it's not just about building a winning team. It's about not being the guy who let a potential generational quarterback walk into someone else's huddle. Let's be clear. Shedeur Sanders' performance didn't just shake the league. It exposed it. His debut for the Cleveland Browns wasn't just a solid start. It was historic. The first rookie in franchise history to throw for over 300 yards. In Week 1, in front of a national audience. In a league where rookie quarterbacks usually struggle to adjust to the speed, the reads, the weight of the moment, Sanders didn't blink. He thrived. And suddenly, the pressure isn't on him anymore. It's on everyone who didn't believe in him. Every analyst who said he needed time. Every executive who questioned whether he could handle an NFL playbook. And most of all, every front office that drafted someone else. Which, of course, brings us back to the Titans. And Cam Ward. Now again, it's crucial to separate facts from noise. Cam Ward did nothing wrong. In fact, he's done everything right. His debut wasn't flashy, but it was composed, professional, grounded, and more than anything, his reaction to Shedeur's breakout was exactly what you want from your QB1. Calm, focused, team-oriented. Ward didn't flinch under the comparison. He acknowledged Sanders' historic performance, owned his own mistakes, and emphasized growth, not rivalry. That's a leader. That's someone who understands this league is a marathon, not a... But let's be honest, narratives aren't fair. And right now, the narrative is this. Shedeur Sanders looks like a star. Cam Ward looks like the guy Cleveland took instead. That's not a knock on Ward's talent. It's just how this league works. Perception drives headlines, headlines drive pressure, and pressure breaks front offices that don't adapt fast enough. And no one feels that more than Kevin Stefanski right now. Because what do you even say when the rookie you passed on just delivered one of the best debuts in recent memory? You can't explain it away. You can't blame the system. You can't ask fans to be patient while someone else's rookie quarterback is already balling out in your jersey. Stefanski is facing something much more dangerous than angry fans. He's facing doubt. And once that creeps into a building, everything gets harder. Every press conference feels tenser. Every decision gets second-guessed. Every loss gets tied back to the pick. Because when a quarterback hits like Shedeur just did, he's not just playing well. He's changing the conversation around what success looks like in year one. He's forcing everyone to reassess what ready actually means. And he's doing it with a level of polish, confidence, and control that makes you wonder why there was ever hesitation in the first place. But don't forget, this isn't a one-sided story. Because while Sanders is lighting it up, Cam Ward is showing exactly why he was taken first overall. Not with flash, with focus, with maturity, with a kind of leadership that sustains careers when the hot start cools off and the real work begins. Ward didn't get into a rivalry. He got to work. He talked about his team, not his stats. He emphasized growth, not comparisons. And that's the kind of mindset that doesn't make headlines now, but wins locker rooms in December and playoff games in January. Still, the comparisons are unavoidable. Because Sanders didn't just have a good game. He threw the draft order into chaos. He lit a fire under every team that doubted him. And now, that fire's burning brightest in Cleveland, where Stefanski's decisions are under the harshest spotlight. The question isn't just whether Sanders was the better pick. The question is whether Stefanski made a mistake that could cost the team years of development. Because when you get the top pick, you're not just choosing a player. You're choosing a future. And right now, Sanders looks like the kind of future that rewrites history. But let's zoom out for a second, because this whole situation is part of something bigger. The NFL is seeing a true evolution in quarterback development. These aren't the same rookies we saw 10 years ago. They're coming into the league sharper, stronger, and far more prepared to lead right away. This isn't just about raw talent anymore. It's about football IQ, mental toughness, emotional intelligence. The stuff you can't measure at a combine. The things that show up in fourth quarters and post-game interviews. And both Sanders and Ward are poster children for that shift. Sanders showed his in his debut. Ward showed his in how he handled Sanders' debut. One lit up the scoreboard. The other gave a masterclass in composure. And you need both in this league. Because flashy stats get you on SportsCenter. But being the guy who can command a team in crisis, that's how you build a legacy. And Ward is clearly playing the long game, which is what makes this rivalry so compelling. It's not petty. It's not forced. It's natural. One came out swinging. The other stayed poised. Both are wired to win, but in completely different ways. And that contrast is going to fuel this narrative for years. It's going to drive the headlines every time they face each other. Every time one wins and the other loses. Every time one makes a Pro Bowl and the other responds the next season. It's not about proving who's better. It's about pushing each other to greatness. That's what rivalries are supposed to be. But back to reality, because this isn't just a feel-good story. There are consequences. And right now, the Browns are living in the shadow of a decision that might define their franchise. If Sanders continues to dominate, if Ward continues to grow but doesn't produce at the same level, then every throw becomes a reminder of what could have been. And Stefanski? He's the one who has to live with that. Because coaches don't get unlimited time. Front offices don't get unlimited chances. And when the guy you passed on is already making history, there's no buffer, no grace period, just results or regrets. So what happens next? That's the beauty and the tension of it all. This story is still unfolding. Ward has every tool to succeed. And Sanders? He's just getting started. But what they've already done is redefine what we expect from rookie quarterbacks. Not just with their play, but with their character. Ward didn't panic. He didn't lash out. He showed exactly why he's going to be a leader in this league for a long time. Sanders didn't shy away. He didn't get overwhelmed. He showed exactly why he might be a once-in-a-generation talent. And somewhere in the middle, the league is shifting. The old rules about rookie development? Out the window. The standard for leadership, preparation, mental toughness? Raised. And the Browns? They're either about to be on the wrong side of history, or desperately hoping Cam Ward becomes the quarterback they believed he would be. The pressure? It's only getting heavier. Because here's the truth. What Shedeur Sanders did wasn't just rare. It was disruptive. One game, and suddenly everything is up for debate. Quarterback scouting, draft philosophy, franchise identity. You don't just drop over 300 yards in your first NFL appearance, break a Browns rookie record, and not trigger an existential crisis for the teams that passed on you. And sitting right in the middle of that storm is Kevin Stefanski. His job was already under a microscope. He's led the Browns through inconsistency, quarterback injuries, playoff hopes that came and went. He's been praised, doubted, praised again, then doubted harder. But now, the spotlight is brutal. Because when the quarterback you didn't pick looks like the one who's about to define the next decade of football, suddenly, every decision you make feels like the wrong one. Shedeur wasn't supposed to be this ready. That's what the analysts said. He needed time. He had to adjust to NFL speed. Instead, he adjusted the scoreboard. He controlled the huddle. He made throws that looked veteran level. He didn't just look ready. He looked commanding. And that's what hurts the most for Cleveland. Because Ward didn't do anything wrong. But Shedeur did everything right. From the first snap, he looked like the guy with something to prove and nothing to fear. The moment didn't swallow him. He owned. Meanwhile, Ward, now the starter in Tennessee, is handling this with more grace than most veterans. His post-game comments? All class. No defensiveness. No passive-aggressive swipes. Just humility. He credited Sanders, acknowledged his own need to grow, and doubled down on his focus. And it was sincere. That wasn't media training. That was, which is exactly why this rivalry is different. It's not about ego. It's not fueled by petty quotes or off-field antics. It's two rookies on two different paths, embodying two different kinds of greatness. Sanders brings the flash, the fearlessness, the headline-grabbing dominance. Ward brings the calm, the growth mindset, the quiet strength of a guy who's in this for the long haul. But let's be honest. One game in, the scoreboard favors Sanders. And fair or not, that's what fans and front offices respond to. It's not just about potential. It's about results. And when your top pick is being outshined immediately by the guy taken after him, the seat gets hot, fast. And here's where things get really uncomfortable. Because there's no hiding anymore. This isn't a situation where you can chalk it up to small sample size or rookie jitters. Sanders didn't luck into success. He didn't get carried by scheme. He drove it. And if he keeps stacking these kinds of performances, it's going to haunt Cleveland's front office every single week. This is where the volatility of NFL scouting comes back into focus. Everyone loves to pretend they've cracked the code. But draft day is a gamble. Teams build entire futures around guesses dressed up as data. And when those guesses are exposed immediately by someone they passed over, it's not just embarrassing, it's damaging. Shedeur has forced the league to ask the question it hates asking. How did we miss this? And the answer is uncomfortable. Maybe scouts got too locked into narratives. Maybe there's a flaw in the way teams weigh interviews and measurables over tape and mindset. Maybe front offices are still too cautious when a player doesn't fit their mold. But whatever the reason, the result is the same. Shedeur Sanders is in Cleveland dominating, and Cam Ward is in Tennessee, being forced to prove that the Browns didn't make a franchise-altering mistake. It's not fair to Ward. He didn't ask for the drama. But it's the reality now. And yet, his response to it? Honestly, it's been just as impressive as Sanders' performance. Because while Shedeur took over headlines, Ward took control of his own narrative. He showed everyone that he's not interested in competing for attention. He's competing for wins. And that kind of maturity? It may not win the press cycle, but it will win games down the line. Which is why this is far from over. This isn't the kind of rivalry that flames out after one season. This is the kind that defines careers. Every time they step onto the field, people will compare them. Every mistake one makes will be contrasted with the success of the other. Every milestone will come with a footnote about who went first and who made the bigger splash. And for fans, that's incredible. Because you're not just watching two quarterbacks grow. You're watching the NFL shift in real time. From how teams scout players to how rookies are expected to perform, this entire dynamic between Ward and Sanders is reshaping the landscape. Both players represent the evolution of the position. Sanders shows us that confidence and readiness can no longer be dismissed just because a player has a famous name or came from a different system. Ward reminds us that emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and real leadership matter just as much, especially when the pressure hits hardest. The future of NFL quarterbacking isn't just about talent. It's about who can lead, who can adapt, and who can carry the weight of expectation without folding. And both of these guys, they've proven they're more than up for the challenge. But right now, only one of them has the league buzzing. Only one has rewritten rookie expectations after just one game. And only one has every team that passed on him wondering if they just handed a division rival their next superstar. And for the Browns, that reality hits hardest of all. They didn't just draft Cam Ward. They passed on Shedeur Sanders. And unless Ward starts stacking wins, and fast, that decision won't just define this season. It'll define Stefanski's legacy. So where do you stand on it? Should the Browns have seen this coming? Is Cam Ward still the smarter long-term investment? Or has Shedeur Sanders already changed the trajectory of two franchises before the season even hits full speed? Let us know in the comments. Like if you're following the drama. Share this with someone who is shouting about the draft in April. And make sure you're subscribed, because this story is far from over. We're only at the beginning. And both of these quarterbacks, they're just getting warmed up.